185,042 people have been arrested and taken into ICE facilities.
Isn't it nice? Seriously, you walk down the street, you're not going to be mugged. You're not going to be hit. We haven't had murders. We haven't had anything happen in a long time.
Across the United States, protests are breaking out against ICE operations. The most intense unrest is unfolding in Chicago, where anger erupted after a violent immigration raid inside a public housing complex. Now thousands are marching through downtown Chicago, demanding justice. In response, authorities have deployed police and National Guard units to control the crowds. Immigration has become a centerpiece of the Trump administration. Under former President Joe Biden, ICE made 49,000 arrests from January to June 2024. During the same period in 2025, now under President Trump, arrests increased by 122%. Supporters say this is a necessary step to remove dangerous offenders and restore control. Opponents argue the actions are inhumane and tear families apart. Meanwhile, ICE's budget has reached an incredible $170 billion, and there are plans to double the force to 20,000 agents. This raises a serious question for every American. When someone crosses the border illegally, should they be deported immediately because they have already broken the law? Or should deportation only happen after they commit another crime inside the country? In this video, we will cover the top 5 harshest ICE raids of 2025. Before we start, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And now, let's dive in. Number 5. Chicago Raid. The Chicago Raid began before dawn on October 9, 2025. Dozens of ICE vehicles surrounded a public housing complex in the city's south side, supported by local police units. Agents entered multiple buildings in what officials described as a coordinated enforcement action. According to official reports, more than 100 people were detained, including individuals with previous deportation orders and several suspected of drug trafficking and assault. ICE stated that all arrests were part of Operation Midway Blitz, a national effort to locate non-citizens with criminal records and pending removal cases. Witnesses told reporters that agents arrived without warning, using flash devices and shouting commands as residents were pulled from their apartments. Videos posted online showed families in panic as smoke-filled hallways and children were escorted outside. The following morning, ICE confirmed that 32 of those detained had prior felony convictions, while the rest were being held for immigration violations pending legal review. Officials said the operation targeted known offenders and emphasized that no one without legal status was immune from federal law. The event gained national attention after Debbie Brockman, a WGN-TV producer covering the scene, was pushed to the ground and handcuffed by federal agents. She was later released without charges, but the footage of her arrest went viral, igniting widespread outrage. On October 10th, the day after the raid, thousands of protesters filled downtown Chicago demanding accountability and the release of detainees. Federal authorities responded by deploying additional police and National Guard units to protect federal facilities. The display of force drew criticism from local leaders who warned that it could inflame tensions further. This was not the first major ICE operation of the year. In recent months, large-scale raids in California and Texas resulted in more than 2,000 arrests tied to human trafficking, identity fraud, and drug offenses. Since January, the agency reports over 61,000 deportations nationwide, primarily to Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. ICE officials argue that such operations are essential for national security and the protection of local communities. Detainees from the Chicago raid are now being processed at federal facilities, where immigration judges will decide their status and potential removal. Supporters say the operation proves that immigration laws are finally being enforced after years of neglect. Critics insist that the tactics used inside residential neighborhoods create fear and division. The Chicago raid has become a symbol of this growing divide between security and compassion. Do you believe these measures make America stronger, or do they risk eroding trust between people and the government? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Our team needs your help. Subscribe to our channel to help more people learn the truth about current events. And now, we move on. Number 4, California raid. In July 2025, federal agents carried out one of the largest immigration and drug enforcement operations of the year. The joint effort between ICE, Customs and Border Protection, and the Drug Enforcement Administration targeted several illegal marijuana farms across Northern California. According to the Department of Homeland Security, at least 361 people were arrested, and several victims of human trafficking were rescued during the raids. Officials describe the farms as part of a larger criminal network that used undocumented labor to expand illegal cultivation in remote forest areas. Worker advocates later said one farm worker died from injuries suffered during the raids, intensifying public scrutiny of federal tactics. Investigators said many of the workers were foreign nationals from Mexico, Laos, and Thailand. They lived in temporary shelters without electricity or running water, and most had their identification documents taken away by recruiters. ICE stated that the operation's main goal was not only to disrupt drug trafficking, but also to identify and protect individuals forced to work under threat and coercion. Agents discovered weapons, chemical fertilizers, and hundreds of pounds of processed cannabis intended for distribution across multiple states. Several suspects are now facing federal charges for drug trafficking, money laundering, and harboring unauthorized migrants. California authorities confirmed that the raids followed months of surveillance and coordination between state and federal agencies. The operation also highlighted growing concerns about the use of migrant labor in illegal agriculture. ICE reported that since the beginning of 2025, more than 8,000 arrests have been made nationwide in connection with labor exploitation and narcotics crimes. Over 62,000 deportations have been completed this year, with most individuals returned to Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Officials argue that such actions protect both the economy and public safety by dismantling criminal organizations that profit from vulnerable workers. Reactions in California were divided. Some local leaders praised the federal effort, calling it a necessary move to stop human trafficking in the region. Others accused ICE of using excessive force and disrupting nearby legal cannabis businesses. Advocacy groups have urged authorities to provide humanitarian assistance and legal aid to those rescued from the farms. For ICE, the operation was a reminder that immigration enforcement extends beyond the border and deep into industries where undocumented workers are most at risk. The California marijuana farm raids revealed a side of immigration enforcement that few Americans see. They exposed the hidden world of exploitation while reigniting the debate over how far the government should go in the name of justice. Do you think these large-scale operations strike the right balance between security and compassion, or do they risk blurring the line between protection and punishment? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, please take a moment to hit that like button. It's a small action, but it helps YouTube's algorithm promote our videos to a wider audience. Number 3, Houston raid. In August 2025, ICE and Homeland Security investigations led a week-long operation across Houston's industrial corridors. According to official statements, 422 people were arrested and 528 were deported following coordinated checks at warehouses and construction sites. Investigators say the focus was a forged documents ring that enabled large-scale illegal hiring authorities, confirmed that the operation was part of a broader effort to dismantle an organized network that supplied counterfeit Social Security numbers and work permits to employers. agents seized hundreds of falsified documents, payroll records, and forged identification cards. ICE reported that multiple companies in Houston had been using these services to fill labor shortages in shipping and construction. Officials said the goal was not to target individual laborers, but to expose the financial structure that allows illegal hiring to persist on a large scale. Several suspects now face charges related to tax evasion, money laundering, and identity theft. Houston has long been one of the busiest immigration hubs in the country, with industries that rely heavily on migrant labor. ICE data shows that since the start of 2025, over 6,000 arrests have been made across Texas, including more than 1,000 in the greater Houston area alone. The agency stated that nearly half of those detained in this particular operation had prior criminal convictions, while others were found to have entered the country multiple times without authorization. ICE officials emphasized that the operation protected legitimate businesses and workers who compete fairly within the law. Reactions from the community were mixed. Several immigrant rights organizations criticized the scale of the raid, claiming it created fear among families and disrupted workplaces. Local officials expressed concern that the sudden removal of hundreds of workers could harm ongoing construction projects and delay public contracts. At the same time, many business owners welcomed the investigation, arguing that companies following the law are often undercut by those relying on cheap, unauthorized labor. The Texas Attorney General's office confirmed that civil penalties are being prepared for several employers found complicit in the scheme. For ICE, the Houston raid marked another step in a nationwide campaign to hold both workers and employers accountable. The agency described the operation as proof that immigration enforcement is also economic enforcement, aiming to secure the integrity of the nation's labor system. Supporters viewed it as a sign that the rule of law is finally being applied evenly across industries. Do you think such actions will make workplaces fairer, or will they only push undocumented labor further into the shadows? Share your opinion in the comments below. Share this video on X and Facebook to help us grow. Every share counts. Number 2, Florida raid. Between September 22 and 26, 2025, ICE Miami executed a coordinated sweep across Central Florida. Officials reported approximately 400 arrests, describing the targets as criminal non-citizens with outstanding warrants and prior convictions. ICE carried out simultaneous raids on farms, greenhouses, and meat processing plants stretching from Immokalee to Okeechobee. Officials said the action followed a months-long investigation into human trafficking and illegal employment practices in the state's farming sector. The operation, part of ICE's nationwide labor integrity initiative, was one of the largest ever conducted in Florida's history. According to ICE, agents uncovered a network of labor contractors who moved undocumented migrants between farms under false identities. Many workers were found living in overcrowded trailers, with their wages withheld and their documents confiscated. Authorities confirmed that several farm owners and supervisors were arrested for providing fraudulent employment records and facilitating unlawful hiring. ICE stated that among those detained were individuals with prior convictions for theft, assault, and driving under the influence. Others are being treated as potential victims of labor exploitation and referred for humanitarian protection. Florida's agricultural industry relies heavily on migrant labor, and the raids reignited debate about how deeply the state's economy depends on undocumented workers. The Department of Homeland Security estimates that up to 40% of farm laborers in Florida lack legal status. IC emphasized that illegal employment undermines businesses that follow the law and places honest workers at an unfair disadvantage. Since the start of 2025, more than 7,000 people have been arrested in Florida for immigration or labor-related offenses, while deportations nationwide have exceeded 61,000. Most are repatriated to Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras through weekly removal flights. Local reactions were divided. Farmer associations warned that the sudden loss of hundreds of workers could threaten the upcoming harvest season. Human rights organizations urged the government to review detention conditions and to provide legal assistance for those who might qualify for protection. The governor of Florida, in contrast, praised ICE's work, saying that enforcement of federal law is essential for maintaining order and fairness in the job market. Meanwhile, protests erupted outside several detention centers as families sought news about their relatives. For ICE, the Florida raids represented both a challenge and a success. The operation exposed the extent of labor exploitation hidden within one of America's most productive regions, yet it also highlighted the nation's ongoing struggle to balance economic demand with lawful employment. Can enforcement alone fix a system built on the need for cheap labor, or is reform the only real answer? Share your opinion in the comments below. Number 1. Iowa School Raid. On the morning of September 26, 2025, ICE agents arrested Ian Andre Roberts, the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools in Iowa. The case shocked the state and quickly drew national attention. Roberts, a 54-year-old educator originally from Jamaica, had led the largest school district in Iowa and was widely regarded as a strong advocate for academic reform. But according to federal authorities, he had been living in the United States illegally for years under a final order of removal issued in 2024. ICE officials said his arrest came after an investigation revealed inconsistencies in his employment documents and a criminal history that stretched back decades. When officers attempted to detain him, Roberts reportedly tried to flee. He abandoned his vehicle and ran into a wooded area before being captured. Agents later found a loaded Glock 9mm pistol, a fixed-blade hunting knife, and $3,000 in cash in his possession. ICE confirmed that he was charged with being an illegal alien in possession of firearms, a federal offense. He was taken to a detention facility in Omaha, Nebraska, pending a hearing before an immigration judge. Officials emphasized that the case was based solely on criminal and immigration violations and not on his work as a school administrator. The arrest triggered disbelief and outrage across Iowa. Parents and teachers expressed shock that the leader of their school system was the subject of an ICE investigation. Local news outlets described the event as one of the most high-profile immigration arrests in state history. The Des Moines School Board immediately suspended Roberts and revoked his administrative license. The district also announced plans to pursue legal action against the consulting firm that vetted his credentials and recommended him for the position. Subsequent reviews uncovered multiple discrepancies in his resume and academic claims, including a degree that could not be verified. ICE stated that Roberts was one of several high-profile arrests under a renewed national enforcement program focusing on document fraud and unlawful employment in public institutions. Officials reported that since January 2025, more than 68,000 people have been detained nationwide for visa overstays or identity-related offenses, including professionals, contractors, and educators. ICE described the Iowa case as an example of how immigration enforcement extends to all sectors where federal law has been violated. The Iowa school raid blurred the line between public trust and legal accountability. Supporters of ICE praised the agency for upholding the rule of law, arguing that no position should place anyone above the system. Critics questioned whether such operations should prioritize violent offenders rather than administrators with long professional records. Should immigration enforcement treat all cases equally, or should a person's contributions to society matter when justice is applied? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global events. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative. Click on the video you see on the screen to learn more.